Hello again, and welcome to the corner studio here in my garage. And I can see from the high-tech teleprompter in front of me here that it is indeed time for another exciting episode of Friday Evening Camera Talk. This is episode 70. And the first thing I want to do tonight is we're going to drop in the week's wildlife clips. We're going to mix it up a little bit. I think I got probably something about a minute's worth of wildlife clips, and then we're going to get started right away just on lens testing. That's the center of gravity tonight for the program. We're going to talk about the 400 4.5, the 100 to 400, the 600 6.3, and as an outlier I'm going to throw in the 28 to 400, which is presently in this bag there. So let's drop the wildlife clips now to get the show started, and we'll be right back to talk about lens testing. So we just saw those wildlife clips, and I want to dive right into our main body of our program tonight. We're going to do housekeeping at the end, and I've got a bunch of stuff to talk about during housekeeping, but if looks like we're going to go over or whatever, I can push some of that till next week. But what I want to do is talk about the lenses and how we've organized the test, and there's no easy way to go about this. It's a complicated segment because for each lens we've got 4 lenses. For 3 of the lenses we've got 4 segments for each lens, and for the 28 to 400, which I'm going to drop that at the end, we only have 2 segments for it. It's a lot of clips because I shot actually 3 to 4 duplicates of each clip just in order to have the best possible output for each lens. And the only way I know of to keep them all organized is to do one lens at a time. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the 400 first, the 100 to 400, and then the 600. And at the very end, we'll do the 28 to 400. And for each lens, this is the complicated part. We're going to shoot it first at its focal length. Like for the 400 prime, it's 400. For the 100 to 400, it's at 400. We're going to shoot it at its focal length, pure with nothing. Then we're going to put the 1.4 teleconverter on it. Okay. Then we're going to put the 1.4 teleconverter aside. We're going to shoot it in DX mode. Then we're going to double down. We're going to put the teleconverter back on the lens and shoot the lens with the teleconverter and in DX mode. So all of this stuff was done on Nikon Z8 camera, and I neglected at the start of the show to say I'm shooting on a Z8, of course, right now, my normal camera for this kind of stuff, and the 24 to 120 lens. So let's just dive right in. Let's look at the output from the 400 first, and then we'll be right back. And this is the 400 4.5 lens. This is the 400 4.5 lens with the 1.4 teleconverter. This is the 400 4.5 in DX mode. This is the 400 4.5 lens with the 1.4 teleconverter in DX mode. All right, let's have a swing this time at the 100 to 400. This is the 100 to 400 at 400. This is the 100 to 400 at 400 with the 1.4 teleconverter. This is the 100 to 400 at 400 in DX mode. This is the 100 to 400 at 400 with the 1.4 teleconverter in DX mode. Okay, and next up is the 600, and as you noticed, I didn't bring it out here just to make it part of a static display because the wife had it on the Z9 on a tripod in her office, and she's doing something with it right now, and I didn't want to borrow it for the segment, so we're going to run those 600 test clips right now. This is the 600 6.3 lens. This is the 600 6.3 lens with the 1.4 teleconverter. This is the 600 6.3 lens in DX mode. This is the 600 6.3 lens with the 1.4 teleconverter in DX mode. And the last one, I've just thrown it in as kind of an outlier. It is the 28 to 400, which I recently purchased, and we've been doing segments on the program about it. I just thought to include it in because you've seen the same subject shot on all these other much more expensive lenses, and we'll just take a look at what the 28 to 400 did against them. And here we have as an outlier the 28 to 400. It's at 400, and you may notice a slightly different orientation of the lens. That's because the camera body is mounted at the tripod, not the lens. Here we have the 28 to 400 at 400 in DX mode. All right, you guys can give me your observations on this testing in the comments, but I'm prepared to wade into chest deep water here and talk about what I think the output was. And I got to pick on the 100 to 400. I think it's the worst in the bunch with the 1.4 on it, and I think it's also the worst in the bunch in DX mode. I think in with the 400 4.5 and the 600 6.3, the output in with the 1.4 on it is very good, and it's pretty good also in DX, but this was a kind of a wake-up call for me. And you see here, this is the 400 4.5, and I've put the 1.4 teleconverter on this lens, and I'm going to leave it parked on this lens for a while because I think this has retaught me a lesson that I should have learned a while back, which is that the output with the 1.4 teleconverter is really just one tier above the output of just shooting like the Z8 with this lens in DX mode. And I've gotten lazy because I've got a button in the front programmed. I just push it and I go into DX mode while I'm doing video, and I can toggle in and out of DX mode, and it makes it convenient, but I think it makes you a little lazy too, because I was using DX mode too much, and I needed to be reminded by these tests that the 1.4 offers better output than just using the Z8, for instance, in DX mode. And so I'm going to leave the 1.4 parked on this lens, and what I'm going to do is, if I need to shoot in just 400, I'll go to the trouble to take it off, instead of having it in the bag and that reluctance to dig it out and install it and all that. But I think that in this group, and if I just had to cast a vote, I think the 600 6.3 lens did the best job handling the output with the teleconverter and in DX. And I have high opinions of this 400 4.5, but I think it got beat in this test. Housekeeping. We've only got a couple more things to do, and one of them is, I'll mention that I said the 35 1.8 was going away. It's gone, and I sent that off to KEH. I've never had any trouble just sending them stuff, and I expect that transaction to go really well. But the 35 is off the borrow shelf down in my office, and I'm not planning to replace it with any kind of a 35 of any kind. I wanted to talk about this bag here, the WANDRD bag, and before I unzip that, I'll show you how easy it is just to put on, and I just go right through like that, and even with this hat on, it's easy to get on and off. And I have found when we're not necessarily just going out on like a specifically photographic type journey, if we're just going out, I can grab this thing, and you know, it's a portable pack here, and I've got a tripod in the vehicle that I keep now, and it's that older Manfrotto Elements tripod that I've shown you on the channel here before. Previously I was using it as kind of a light stand for the hobo light, and I just decided to put it in one of the vehicles so that there would be a tripod out there all the time. So I don't have to tote a tripod back and forth, you know, from the front door out to the vehicle or remember it every time. I just grab this, and if I need a tripod, it's out there. But the Z8 is set up with the 28-400 lens, and this is how I'm carrying it out when I leave the house and I want a camera. And I think the only other thing in here probably worth showing, it's got a little zippered bag here, and there's just enough room in here for a camera strap and some lens wipes and an extra battery. But I've got in this padded bag here the Ceramic VMic Mini 2, and I can put that on the camera, use the tripod out of the vehicle, and everything I need is right here in this little convenient tote. So I've gotten quite used to having this, and I think it's added some dimensionality. I'm carrying the camera more often just when we walk out the door to go to lunch or just to go shopping or whatever, or if we're just out and we're, you know, doing some errands or whatever. And it hasn't happened yet, but like I've got the capability, if we see some wildfowl somewhere, you know, I can say, hey, let's pull over and we'll just shoot a little bit or whatever. So it's there, and I think it is working out well for me. Last on the list, and we can close out the program, is the studio progress. And you won't be able to see it right this second, but I'm pointing at the wall. We've got a solid wall there. Now, the other side of it, we haven't put the insulation in, and we've got a product that's not just, this is regular drywall here. On the other side, we're going to put in kind of a manufactured plastic product that's made just for garage use in panels, and it's got ways that you can hook tools and other things in. Sitting here, the name of it has just gone out of my mind, but it's an order item, so we're waiting for that to come in. But on the other side there, we've got to put the insulation in. When those panels come in, we can finish that. Then we've got a bunch of kind of painting and finishing work to do here in the studio. But we are making a lick here along and getting the job done. And we're going to close the show tonight. I'll show you some short clips of the progress so far. I've actually taken the 14 to 30 lens where you can get a better look at it, and we'll show you what we've been doing so far. But want to thank everybody. We'll drop that in right at the end of the program after I close out here. So want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. We hope to see you again soon in another video. So till then, take care.